Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to talk about my top books of 2023, and I'm not going to lie, I struggled a bit when putting this list together. While I gave quite a few 5 stars to the books I read, there weren't that many that were like my new favorites or that I would feel like super passionate about. But yeah, I have a list of 10 books that I really enjoyed last year, so let's talk about them. So first we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake, and this book with this absolutely stunning cover is an adult sapphic romance between Delilah and Claire. Delilah swore that she would never go back to her hometown where she lived with her stepmom and her stepsister after her father died, and it was a very lonely childhood. Like, she wasn't very well accepted into their little circle. So then she moved to New York and she made a life for herself as a photographer. But now her sister is getting married and she wants her to be her wedding photographer. So she goes back to town. It brings a lot of painful memories, and there are definitely things that like her and her sister and her stepmom need to work through. Some of them they do, some of them they don't. And there she like meets again one of her sister's friends named Claire, and yeah, it's a romance between the two of them. Claire is a single mom, and then there's her ex that like tends to be like out and in her life like as he pleases. So yeah, she has that drama going on, and obviously like Delilah has her life in New York, so there's quite a few struggles to overcome. So I wouldn't say this is your like typical rom-com when it's hilarious all of the time. Like, for some of the time the tone is a bit more serious, it's like the characters are going through stuff, but also like it is still fun and sexy and just amazing. So yeah, I would really recommend this romance. This is the first book in the Brightfall series, and I'm currently reading book 2, which is also already shaping up to be pretty good. Next we have The Heart Principle by Helen Huang, and this is book 3 in the Kiss Quotient series, the first book being The Kiss Quotient. So I finished the series last year, and I ended up like giving all of the books, all 3 books in the series, 5 stars, but this one ended up my favorite because it was definitely the most hard-hitting for me for several reasons. In this book we follow Anna, and as a lot of people will tell you, this is not your typical romance where like the main focus is on the romance. Like, the romance plays a big role, but it's mostly about Anna and her life and what she's going through. So in all of the books in the series there's an autistic main character, and yeah, Anna is autistic but she doesn't know it yet at the beginning of the book. She learns it at the beginning of the book, like because like her therapist like figures it out, and then it's about her journey with like learning about autism in women and masking and burnout and all of this stuff. And at the beginning of the story she gets broken up by her boyfriend, and she decides to like try one night stands, and she meets Kwan online. Kwan is like the cousin of Michael from The Kiss Quotient book 1, so it's kind of all connected. So Kwan is this big guy who rides a motorcycle, has a lot of tattoos, but like inside he's pretty soft and caring, and he's currently like he has had a serious illness, so he's kind of recovering from that. Well, like physically he's mostly recovered, but it's more like recovering from the trauma and just like the emotional scars. So he's also going through some stuff, but yeah, the two of them meet, and like it doesn't go well at all from the beginning, because like yeah, they're both going through stuff, but like the romance that develops between them is like so sweet and so tender, and like it was so heartwarming and like hopeful to read about. So yeah, there are so many things that I adored about this book, like Anna's journey with her autism diagnosis, and also she's a musician, so like there's the whole like loving music element, and she's also the younger sibling. A pretty big part of this book is also when Anna's father gets really seriously ill and the whole family has to take care of him, and yeah, that leads the family to have some conversations that they really should have, you know, a long time ago. So yeah, there's a lot of happening, a lot of it sad and intense, but overall I just adored this book. It hit so close to home in several aspects, And yeah, I would just really wholeheartedly recommend this series. And even if you like didn't love The Kiss Quotient, the first book, that much, I would recommend to continue with the series, because each book is different. And yeah, the first book like ended up my least favorite in the end, even though like I gave all of them 5 stars. So yeah, I would highly recommend this series. Then the next book is The Kiss Curse by Ellen Sterling. So this is book 2 in the Exes series. I mean, obviously the first book is called The Exes, and I really enjoyed that. I gave it 4 stars like last year. But yeah, this one I ended up loving even more, so it was a 5 star. And this is a series about like a female coven of witches in a small American town. So it's like mostly contemporary with like a bit of witchy stuff. So in this book we follow Gwyn, who lives in this town as a witch. They kind of keep it secret from the general population. The town was founded by this like Welsh family, and the current members are like 3 sons and a father. And one of the sons comes back to the town to like check up on the town. He's very much under influence of his father, and yeah, the father is like the father is a lot, okay? So this book is a lot about their father-son relationship and how like he has lived his whole life like trying to be the responsible one and doing like the family duty, and now he's kind of trying to do his own thing. And the romance is kind of hate to love, because Gwyn has like this ridiculous gripe with Wells that from like years ago when they like briefly met, and like he might not even remember that, but like she still remembers it, because and she's still like annoyed by it, which obviously means that like she's obsessed with him. And when he arrives in town, he sets up his own shop like opposite the street of hers, which like causes some drama. And then they need to team up to like investigate like some sketchy witchy things that might be happening in the town. So yeah, it's super fun, super sexy and steamy, and yeah, just a really entertaining series with witchy stuff. Next we have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. So this is a cozy high fantasy book about a kind of like orc who has been on some quests, and now she's taking like some quieter time, and she actually wants to start her own cafe shop in a town that doesn't know what coffee is. So yeah, it's quite a business adventure. And yeah, she kind of finds her newfound family in this town of people like working for her, with her, and like yeah, befriends the customers, all of that. So it's a lot about like building this business from the ground up, you know, in an environment that like we don't know if the people will be ready for it or not. So I really enjoyed these aspects of that. Also the found family, really sweet. There's also like a really slow budding female romance, so that was another great aspect. So yeah, it was so cozy, so heartwarming, and just yeah, I may be looking into cozy fantasy a bit more. Then we have The Duke Heist by Erica Ridley. So I only read this book because I wanted to get to book 2 in the series, which is called The Perks of Loving a Wallflower, but I ended up actually loving this first book even more. So this is a historical romance. This is my first ever historical romance, and I ended up loving it. So we follow Chloe, and Chloe is part of this Winchester family. So again, there's the theme of a found family. So these are all orphans that at some point were adopted by this rich guy, and he recently died, and the new family is like really close-knit, and they are not accepted to the polite society because like they are not like highborn. So they're kind of doing their own thing. They have this huge house, and they're going on quests and like secretly infiltrating like some circles and like doing some good in the world. And yeah, I really love again the family. Like all of them are super like quirky, and all of them have like their own things and hobbies and personalities, and they have a great dynamic together. So Chloe's superpower is that she can infiltrate circles and be really like inconspicuous and kind of like blend in the background and then like gain information. And their heist for this book is that siblings need to like retrieve this family heirloom that means a lot to them, that was stolen to them by this duke, and he had died, but now like there's his son. So yeah, they really have a gripe with his son. And so Chloe meets his son, and what would you expect? Like, of course, like they start feeling some attraction, and yeah, at first it's kind of like hate to love, like they don't like each other obviously, but yeah, again, it's surprisingly steamy. Like I didn't expect it to be steamy, because like it's set like in Jane Austen times or something, but like yeah, obviously it's the genre, so yeah, like it was steamy. And yeah, I love the dynamics between them, like their character development and like how their relation developed, and has like it was all very fun. So yeah, I would very much recommend this series as well. Next we have Death Note by Tsugumi Ohba and Takeshi Obata. So I've been wanting to start this series for such a long time, and I finally did it in 2023. So I read volumes 1 and 2. I gave both of them 5 stars, so I'm kind of including like the series so far on this list. So this is a manga series about a high school student who one day finds a notebook and finds out that if you write someone's name in it, the person will die. And so he starts using it, and then like obviously there are the like forces after him, and so it's like this chase and like masterminding, and yeah, it's so much fun. Like I really enjoy like masterminds like battling, and like all of the like little traps and things like they're doing. Like yeah, I can't wait to continue with the series. It's just really exciting and really fun, and like something a bit different. Like I don't usually read manga, and this kind of like fast-paced sci-fi, so yeah, really enjoying the series. Next we have Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend. So this is book 2 in the Nevermore series. This is a middle grade fantasy series about a girl who is destined to die on her 11th birthday, but instead she is whisked away to this magical land where she has to go through trials to be accepted into this secret society. And yeah, I adored book 1. I reread it before continuing the series, and yeah, I think I'm gaining even more appreciation for the series. Like the world building is amazing, like all of the characters, like they are quirky, they are, you know, interesting on their own, and yeah, it's really fun to watch their dynamics. And I also loved in book 1 like all of the trials, and in book 2 like we have the actual school setting, and it kind of gets like really hard for our main character called Morrigan, because like she's still like the different one, and so she faces some bullying, also like even from teachers. So yeah, it's kind of hard-hitting at times, like not all like rosy and fun in the magical world, but yeah, the magical world, like the world building is expanding. Like we are like exploring the city much more, which was so fun, and like there are some talks about like morality and like what's important in life. So yeah, this is like such a wholesome and like rich middle grade series. I don't read that much middle grade, but this one I absolutely adore, and again, can't wait to continue with it. Next we have Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Sutanto. So this was a wild ride. So I really came to appreciate this kind of genre, which is like humorous thriller. We get that in this book, but we also get like much more. So we follow Maddie, and Maddie goes on her date that like her mom set up for her, and her date ends up being like horrible, like almost criminal things happening horrible, and then she accidentally like kills the date. And her family, which is like this really loud, very loving family of Chinese, Indonesian, American, and they try to deal with the situation. But the problem also is that they have like this family wedding business. So it's Maddie's mom and then her 3 aunties, and like all of these women like do something for the family business, and they have like a huge gig coming up the next day after this happens. So like a lot of drama ensues, and then at the venue Maddie meets her college sweetheart, and they broke up like a couple of years ago, but she is still into him, so there might be something there. So yeah, we have like the drama and the action, but then there's also like flashbacks to the romance and like Maddie's relationship with her family, and like how there are these expectations, and like some of them are internal, and it's about like her relationship to her mom and to her aunts and all of that, and you have like a lot of the culture there. So yeah, this was like a really fun wild ride with like some added value, and yeah, just one of the best books of this year. And then I have two non-fiction books that I wanted to include on this list. So the first one is Algorithms to Live by Brian Christian and Tom Griffiths. So this is a book that's divided into several chapters, and each chapter like handles one phenomena or like concept in the computer science world, and they basically go through it and how you can apply it to your everyday life. And this book was like a bit more demanding when it came to like brain power and concentrating, but in my opinion it was like all worth it because like it was fascinating, and I really liked like the everyday applications of that. Like it was really fun. Like it was a bit of a hard read, but like nothing like fancy. Like you don't need to like understand math or like statistics or computer science on a high level, like not at all. Like you can definitely read it even if like you're not in the field at all. So yeah, I really liked how it was still really approachable, but yeah, packed with value, but approachable and fun. So yeah, I would recommend that one. And then the last one is 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. So this is kind of a self-help book about how you have approximately 4,000 weeks in your life. And what I liked about it is that like in my time I read quite a few of self-help books, and like at some point it's hard for like the next book to bring something new or to make you look at things from a different perspective. And I think this one did. I think it did something a bit different. Like it wasn't like your standard like motivational, like inspirational, like be productive kind of thing, but yeah, really kind of made me think about things a little bit differently. There was kind of like a bit of a like cynical point of view going on, I think. So yeah, it definitely made me think. I would like to reread it. It also talked about like priorities and saying no to things, and yeah, in my mind it just really stands out among the self-help books I read. So I would recommend it. So yeah, this is my list. Let me know your thoughts. Like, have you read any of these? Are they on your TBR? And also let me know what your favorite book of 2023 was. But yeah, that is all for today. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!